down the street one day. A man came up to me and asked me what the time was. That was on my watch. Yeah. And I said, yes, I said, does anybody really know what time it is?
Yes, you do know what time it is. It's time for the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. And you might have guessed at this point in time that I'm not Darren nor the Music Man. And that intro was brand new just for you. And today we're going to take a little bit of a turnaround over here. We're going to see what it's like to be the guys behind the mic, who they are, what they are, the businesses, and actually what got them to this point to host their own show. So my name is Brian Cohen. I have been asked to do this. I'm thrilled to be doing this because I love the idea that these two guys have taken the opportunity to use their voice to build their brand and build their business. And they have certainly done that. And it's their brand that's actually the common factor in all of this. I know them personally, and you're going to get a chance to know them also from behind the camera in the guest seat. So today we have Norman. Norman, I want to thank you for joining us here today.
Good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome. Nice of you to host this show. Take the time out of your busy schedule because you are the president of the Long Island Speakers Bureau. See? I'm still interviewing from back here.
Yes, you are. Well, let's see if we can keep it down to I ask the questions. All right. And then to Norman's right is Darren. Darren, I want to thank you for actually asking me to do this.
Well, Brian,
it really is a thrill.
Actually, Norman asked you to do that, but
that's
no,
true.
we really.
But there again, back in the day, I asked Darren to do it.
Well,
so that's how it goes. We'll talk about that.
Here we go, guys.
I want to address something right out of the gate. I don't care how many home run derbies Alonso wins. His ball is never going to be worth $1,500, buddy. So forget it. He's already on there chirping away. He's
already started?
Yeah, he's already starting. He's already chirping away.
Why don't we just cut him out?
You could certainly do that.
Why don't we cut him
I thought you were going to ask me about sports.
No, that's John from Haslett. You know, so yeah. he
John is our mascot.
Yeah, he's on.
A little known fact about me, I was actually asked to be the sports announcer for one of the radio stations around here. Right. Darren knows it well because he had a show over there. It's like I couldn't talk the talk. And that was one of the few things that I've turned down. And I've made a point of saying yes and then doing whatever it was. And it's gotten me on a comedy stage, the Speakers Bureau, hosting my own show.
You also have your own podcast.
Yeah.
Right. And what time is that podcast on? And where can someone find you?
You can find that on Facebook and, of course, through my website. And that's Strategies of Success. I do it every weekday. Been doing it for the past year and a half now. And that was my answer to COVID. I wanted to do something, actually needed to do something. So I was doing the program. Well, I wanted to share information about what business owners should know about COVID. It wasn't that I was the expert, and therein lies the difference here. And I definitely want to point that out today.
You brought a lot of experts on.
Right.
You know,
okay, we're not here to talk about your show.
But wait, I want to thank Brian, too, because he went and got a haircut, and he trimmed his
Looks
beard.
like Caesar, doesn't it? Looks just like Caesar.
So I want to thank you for doing that, Brian.
Caesar.
We'll throw it in. Wound up being on a TV show with the haircut too, but we'll save that for another day. But actually, I'm on your side of the coin over here. So, Norm, what do you say? What do you think we get a chance to know you a little bit more intimately? Can I use that word here?
If you wish, sweetie.
So you have your business behind this has been the Friend Entertainment. That is something you started a long time ago. Why don't we go with the backstory of that, because it does fit in. What I find interesting is your personality and Darren's personality fits in very well with the show. So we'll see if everybody can pick up on that a little bit later on. But Friend Entertainment, where did that begin?
1988 was my first concert, which we did at Jericho High School for the Jericho Athletic Association. I happen to have lived in Jericho. My three girls played in the Little League program, the sports program, the Jericho Athletic Association. Dad was a coach, then Dad was on the board, then Dad became president, and then Dad did the first concert that he ever did in 1988. But my work history goes before that. In 1972, I got into the headhunting business and stayed in the headhunting business till around 2006. That was a long time, and I was completely burnt crazy, had to get out of it, couldn't take it anymore. And the other reason that I left was because I wanted to build up Friend Entertainment, which hopefully, thankfully, for 33 years now, I've been doing Friend Entertainment. And what we do is help charities. We bring music, the universal language, out to the world and help charities make some money and get marketing and branding from the groups and such that we put on.
Usually folks, though, that are working in some career and then shift over, they have a hobby that turns into a business, which, Friend Entertainment certainly turned into a business. Yeah. But there's some connection with the day job. And it doesn't seem like there is here. Where did music fit into this?
Music, I can't sing a note.
Okay.
Can't sing a note. I can dance. If anybody wants to see me dance, just pay me. I'll be more than happy to dance. And I just used it. My mom died when I was very young. My father died when I was very young. So I use music to get me through the bad times. And I'm constantly singing in the car and what have you. And I just used it. I used to go to all these concerts. I used to go to all these doo-wop rock and roll shows. Me and my friend Michael. And the four of us, our wives, used to go and we would watch all these doo-wop groups. And one day Michael said, why don't we do one? And by the way, I'm not president anymore. You're the new president. Mm. I said, when was I elected? He said, you weren't. We gave it to you. So I wound up being president for 2 years, being in the organization for 8. And I made it happen. So I took what I made happen and I turned it into a business. And that's how we got started.
That's the world of volunteering.
So that was 33 years ago.
Wait, we gotta get a fist bump.
There you go.
There you go.
Because you got a great question, Brian. That was a great question. John from Hazlitt said, great question.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
So you have to understand what that means, and so does everybody else. When Darren and I do this, that means somebody said, great question. Okay? So if anyone wants to give Darren a great question, please do it.
We'll go for the great question. You can certainly do that through the chat feature. And if you want to call in, by all means do. We are taking live calls at 631-619-7500.
And you can ask us questions.
Absolutely. We'd be happy to.
If we feel like answering them, we will.
As long as you guys ask the questions. Remember, I'm asking the questions. You get to answer them here tonight. So, Darren, what do you think? He turned a hobby. He turned his business. Actually, he didn't turn your business into a hobby. It was the joy of music, which turned it over after being voluntold to do something that's, hey, you're now in charge. And, of course, you volunteered to help out with the nonprofit. But you work with so many businesses.
Well, it's funny because a lot of entrepreneurs get started like that, right? Their careers aren't what they actually thought they were going to do for the rest of their life. So they actually thought when they first went into their career, like me, I thought, okay, I'm going to be an accountant forever and I'm going to do all that stuff. But, my business has morphed into something completely different. That's something I enjoy doing. And that's what happened with Norm. Norm was burnt out from doing what he was doing for so many years. And he fell into something he really loved doing. So he said, hey, you know what? I'm going to make a go at this. I'm going to make a living at this. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs do. So 33 years doing this, it's got to say something. So it's not a flash in the pan. He had a plan. He was able to implement it. And he's still going strong today with that. And that's a lot of what happened with me. I mean, I started out, I worked in the big accounting firm in New York City. We had 200 professionals in the office and we were running all over the place doing audits and whatnot. Went to work for a client. I followed the natural progression of an accountant that goes through. Worked for a big firm, then goes to a private client. Then I worked for a consulting company, and it just completely changed the way I looked at everything. Because now I was consulting on taking businesses apart and trying to put them back together to make them more efficient. And that's really where I was like, you know what? These small businesses don't get that. They don't get that from their accountants, because more times than not, whenever they're working with their accountants, it's, I'll see you next quarter, or I'll see you next month, or I'll see you once a year. And all the information you get from the accountant is useless information because it's history. See, accountants are historians by nature. We tell you what happened, not what's going to happen. And I said that any business owner.
But you can also predict the future.
Right. We can take the information that we have, and it can become very useful. So we started my firm back in 2001, right after 9/11, and we started going in that direction where we were giving more to the small business owner. And we worked with a lot of small companies, but we like framed ourselves as almost a traditional accounting firm, and we were giving just that, but we were giving more. And one day my partner Michelle said to me, "Why are we giving this stuff away?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You spend more time talking people off the ledge,
right,
and giving them advice on how to get better than you do just providing what we're getting paid to provide." And we said, "Okay, let's start a whole consulting side of this business." And that's really when we started doing that. And a few years ago, I made a really bad attempt at writing a book. Okay.
Hold it.
wait, that could be a fist bump moment right then and there.
What, did somebody say something?
I'm going to tell you, that was a good thing. That attempt at writing a book. It's not as easy as one thinks.
It also changed him a little bit.
It changed me a lot.
The writing of the book is how we met.
Mm-hmm.
We met because. All right, go right ahead.
I was gonna say. I wrote this book. I met Norm in a networking thing, and at the time he was doing a show. It wasn't video at the time; it was just audio. Okay, and he was doing a podcast with
Ty
Vakari.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't remember her last name. I didn't want to say. And so they invited me on as a guest, and I went on the show, and we had a great time. And then they invited me on again. Then they went to video, and they invited me on again as one of the guests. And from that point, Ty decided she didn't want to do it anymore, and I'll let you pick it up from there.
So I had asked Darren at one of our network meetings if he'd be interested in joining me and becoming Darren and the Music Man versus Ty and the Music Man. I think it took about less than a fraction of a second to get a yes out of him.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Listen, I did the old, okay.
Yeah, right. Well, there's common factor number one. You're both entertainers in different respects, but both of you do enjoy the stage. You, from the standpoint of the radio, obviously the podcast, the speaking side of things also. And you, my friend, you may not have any musical ability in you, but you certainly love introducing those acts.
Yeah, I enjoy all of that stuff, but I want Darren to do something, because I have the same problem too, and I'm going to get to it on my end. We both do this show every week.
Right.
And people know that you are a business consultant. Mm-hmm. And even though you explained a little bit about being a business consultant, what do you really do? In plain English, you go into a business and do what?
Real simple. Great question, though.
Wait till we get. And I thought I was the host over here.
I can't hold back.
I know. I knew this is going to be the fun part.
Well, if you remember, Brian, before the show, he's giving you all little tips. You know what you do. It's real simple. What I do for the business owner is I give them the peace of mind so they can operate. And what I mean by that is very simply this. I can instantly turn your cash flow around. Instantly turn your cash flow around. I've done it. I've done it in my own firm. Because I was in the same thing. I was like working my ass off. I'm making good money, but I don't have any money. And, I feel like I'm always working. Well, I was always looking for the best way to do it. And I'm trying to figure it out on my own. And I looked into different things, like I was looking at EOS, I was looking at eMyth, and I found a book called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, who's been on the show. He's been a guest on the show and everything. And I'm actually a certified Profit First professional, as they call it. And he also wrote another book called Pumpkin Plan and Fix This Next. And, he wrote a series of business books. And I'm certified in all those coaching programs. And what I was able to do to work out with Mike and his team and Ron and Donna and them is to be able to private brand it into what I call my prosperity tree, which is all these programs wrapped up into one. So when you come to me and you say, hey, I'm interested in you becoming my accountant, I'm not going to take you on if you just want me to do your tax return. I'm not going to take you on if you just want me to do your bookkeeping. I'm going to take you on because you want to grow your business and you want to learn how to grow your business and you want me to help you do it.
So you're like the CFO.
Well, it's not even, yeah. So it's like having a CFO. And I have clients who have controllers and CFOs, and we work with them. So I don't have to be your CFO either. I can come in as that outside advisor that can help you get better and help you better sleep at night and put more money. I'm telling you, we have proven systems that instantly will change your cash flow. Did for me.
Now ask them, how do people get in touch with you?
And no, John, that's not how I bought my farm. And I don't have a farm. I don't care what any people.
No, it's not a question of a farm. He has horses.
I don't have any horses.
He doesn't have any more horses because he just moved down to the South Shore and got a big house on the water, and he just ordered a boat. He just ordered a boat.
I didn't order a boat. I live in a 55 and older community.
Nice.
I walk around with my cane.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously. No,
I mean, really, tell the truth.
We're
here to lay it out on the line.
I'm ready for the 55 and over myself. I qualify. I very well qualify for it. I would love to have somebody take care of
enemies and they take care of everything for you. No more cutting lawns, nothing like that.
So my side of this whole thing, though, since you're sitting down and you're speaking to your clients and you're working with them from a higher level, it's not just a looking back. Hey, what income did you have? What expenses did you have? Because you're right. That you're an historian. Congratulations, you got my paperwork in on time.
Right.
Thank you very much. Like, who cares, kind of thing.
Right.
There's no value add in that. The rest of it is, so your personal experience as a business owner.
Yep.
You've then really took a hard look at yourself as to what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you're applying it that way. This is where that business therapist comes in, right?
Right, exactly. And if you remember, Brian, a couple of years ago, I did a commercial about being a business therapist.
Yeah.
Right. And that, because people do that. I do get phone calls from my clients who are they're just stressed out. They need to vent. And then they go, okay, thanks for listening, and hang up. And they're fine. And they go on. And I don't say maybe 3 words during the whole conversation.
Right.
Sometimes I don't have to. Sometimes it's just, I was away. If you remember, in May, I went up to Vermont, do a flying clinic up there.
Why do you do the flying thing? Why do you do a clinic?
Well, I went up with Civil Air Patrol, actually for the Air Force. And I got a very nice letter from Colonel Wooten. Thank you, Colonel Wooten, for that letter. I really appreciate that.
Nice.
Thanking me for doing that. But a client called me, and I just said a couple of things. He goes, I just needed to hear that. Thank you. And that's a big part of what we do.
What's your slogan?
Who's interviewing here?
Yeah, really.
Jump in anytime.
I got to leave all 3 of them on. And then, Norman, you can just raise your hand. Tell me when I'm going to put his contact information up again. Because I've ignored you. I'm surprised he didn't say anything.
Right. So actually, back in 2003, we came up with this. Control your business before it controls you. Because if you're a business owner that is running around all the time because your business is making you're at family picnics, but you're not there. You're thinking about the business. You're on vacation and you're not there.
Right.
A lot of complaints I hear from my business owners, and actually my business owner's spouses, is he's never around.
Right.
Or she's never around. They're always working. And even on vacation, they're always working. So, and that's one thing life balance is very important. And that's a big part of what we do, is teach you how to, balance your life so you have that better life. And like I said, a lot of entrepreneurs are solopreneurs. They don't have partners. They don't have somebody. And a lot of times their spouses and stuff, when they come home, the spouses don't want to hear about the crap day they had or the problem they have or anything like that. They want to hear, hey, you're going to take the kid to baseball and you're going to come home and everything's going to be happy. And they want to hear all of that stuff. So they need that sounding board.
Yeah.
Everybody does. I need it. I have my coaches that I work with. As a matter of fact, I met with them today. We have a group of us that we all get together and we bounce things off each other, and we yell about this and that, and all the crap that we're going through, because we go through the same thing.
Right.
That's why we know how to help you.
Yeah.
Because we're going through the same thing you are. You're not alone. That's a big thing with a lot of the business owners.
It's that relatability factor. Right.
Yeah.
And it because you are a business owner too. So you get a chance to, you understand, you've lived through it, so you can understand what they're going through and to make that work. I'm going to put your contact information up over here. This way I keep Norman happy.
If you want to get a hold of me, you can go to cbms.co, or better yet, the new program that we came up, My Prosperity Tree, go to myprosperitytree.com. It's going to bring you to the same place. You can reach us at 844-987-CBMS. It's 844-987-2267. Or you can find us on Facebook and, all those different places, LinkedIn and whatnot, CBMS Consulting Services.
Excellent. Thanks.
So, yeah. So if you guys, look, free consultation, I'll sit down, I'll talk to anybody who wants to talk. And you know what, if we're fit, and we don't take everybody on because sometimes you're just not a fit. We may not work within your industry. We may not be able to help you the way you need help, but we'll help you find the right people. Right. We have a network of other people, other coaches that we work with that, may be able to help you. So, never give up hope that you can't get help. And the biggest thing is asking for help.
Yeah, that's an important thing. Even if you turn somebody away, it gives them a chance to take a look and understand why you turned them away. And it's not because of it may not be because of anything negative. It's just everybody's in different places. So they might have a better understanding of where they're at.
Yeah, we'll tell them, okay, this doesn't fit. I can't help you in the way that you need help, but I know somebody who can.
Right.
The old, I know a guy.
Yeah.
That's me. I know a guy. I know a guy to do everything that you need to be done for the most part. And it's funny because I have one client, and Darren Zinna, who comments on the show all the time, and that he's been one of my clients since 2013 or 2012 when he first opened his business. He's been with me since he first opened his business, and he's grown and he's doing very well. But he always says, I'm one phone call. He goes, I got a problem, I make one phone call. And that's who we are. That's who we are to our clients.
You make it happen. You're a resource. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
You're a resource.
Exactly.
So your partner over here tends to be the resource in the fundraising kind of category. Yeah. So Norm, here we go. We'll take you. We'll stick with you here till we get to the halfway mark. So I'd love to do that. So Darren, thank you very much for the explanation of your business.
Now watch him. I'm going to sit back and let him ask the questions because he is the host. He
doesn't ask questions.
But he's the host. Let him ask questions.
Write some questions down for him. Okay, so if we go and we ask somebody, what does Friend Entertainment do?
That's a good question.
They think I sell tickets to shows. They think that's what my business is. That's not what my business is. My business is to help charities market and brand themselves and at the same time get some revenue that they really need. In 2020, in mid-February, beginning of March, I had at that time 26 concerts booked. I had to cancel every one of them and basically was out of business. I had to give back thousands and thousands of dollars of people that sent in for tickets and people that paid deposits to do concerts and yada, yada. I had to give it all back. And I was like, besides myself. But while doing some networking, whatever, I met some people, and you meet some people, and that's what we do in networking. And I started doing live streaming of concerts across the country and also internationally. The international part was unintentional. That was not where I planned on going with it. But we have people here that have relatives overseas that they know what kind of music they like and so on and so forth. And it happened to have worked. And now I did that. I've done that for the last year. I do not do concerts during the summer, streaming or anything else, because there are too many free concerts and people attend the free concerts. They're totally, even though the talent's the same, the shows are totally different. You're sitting outdoors and you're getting bit by mosquitoes, and sometimes the ground can be wet and it could be nasty or whatever it may be, but the show still goes on. And people go, it's free. So you're going to get thousands of people sometimes to show up in a park and they enjoy themselves. My shows are completely different, especially now, not now, but the fact that I help charities raise money. I don't do it. I use the summertime to book for the fall and for the following January to June. That's what I use the summertime for. And luckily, happily, whatever it may be, we have about 10, 12 shows booked already between September and March of next year, helping charities. I have different plans for different charities, basically 2 plans. You can get all the money that comes through the door, everything goes directly to you, or I can sponsor the show and we give you a piece of the action to come in based upon the fact that you sort of become the sales portion of what our shows are all about. I have a big show coming up with Long Island Cares. I just canceled a summertime show for a fairly large organization because I didn't want to do a summertime show. They insisted upon doing it. You're the client. I'm going to acquiesce. But then it wasn't selling. So I wasn't going to lay out all kinds of monies to go and do this. So very nicely, I said, let's do it in the fall. Let's do it at another time. And that's where we left it. I want everybody to be successful in what it is that they do. And that's one of the reasons why we've been around for 33 years doing this. We are a marketing branding company to help your charity grow. And I don't care where you are in the country. I pack up a car, we pack up a bus, we put you on a plane, being the talent, and we show up wherever you want to go.
Yeah. Now, isn't that the most important part of it, though? I mean, the talent needs to be good, and it's expected to be good, and you work with talent that absolutely, that is good. But it's the other side of it. It's that unwritten side of it, where you're working with the nonprofit and finding out from them what exactly their needs are.
Well, they need to raise money. That's all they tell you. We need to go and raise money. But you also need to brand yourself. I try not to work with major charities because they really don't need me as much. The small, medium firms need the branding and the marketing. Cancer Care gets a load of money from the government, from donations from other major companies. And they don't need someone like myself. Have I done shows for people like that? Yeah, absolutely. I don't turn it away, but they don't need me in order to make that kind of money. And they certainly don't need me for branding. It's the small, medium, like of organization that you belong with. If they were to do something, I market and brand them and teach people what it is that they're all about and why they need this. It's not just putting the Temptations on a show or a brand name like that. There's much more to that than just entertaining.
Right. That's exactly it. It's that conversation you have with them directly about what they're trying to accomplish, which of course is raising money, if you want to just put it simply. But there's those other follow-up questions that go along with it. When is the right time to do? What's the right location to do? What's the right structure behind it?
What's the right time? And who's the best group to put on?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We'll ask the moon and we'll find out which is the best to do. It's how you mark. We all saw the movie Field of Dreams. Right? Build it and they will come.
It's not that easy.
Friend Entertainment added a slogan to it at the end. Build it and they will come if you let people know it's there.
Yeah.
You can have this beautiful stadium, but if the word doesn't get out that the stadium is built and you're going to watch a great baseball game with all kinds of people from the past, okay? Which is what I do. I bring people from the past. You got to advertise it. You have to put it out there, and you have to do it cost effectively. Not just it's the internet that works, and that's another conversation.
There was one question that did come up about the difference between a tribute band and a cover band.
Well,
you want to explain that and which one that you are working with?
Well, I work with both, but primarily tribute. Tribute is taking my John Denver show, and that's all he does. Is John Denver taking the Temptations. That's all they do is Temptation songs. A cover band is usually for a period of time. They'll run from the 60s and 70s and 80s. They'll just do the 70s or they'll just do the 80s. And they cover all different type of performers' music in that period of time.
Right.
That's what they do.
Okay. And would you like to give your contact information out at this point in time? And I'll put your slide up.
Yeah, I'll skip it.
There you go.
631-698. 9696. It's 631-698-9696. If you'd like to reach out and just ask me a question or make an appointment, we can do it over Zoom. I can visit your office. If you're still wearing a mask and you don't allow people in, I get it, because most charities do not allow people in without masks. I was at one today. You have to wear a face mask. I'm more than happy to. And I'll answer all your questions for you and tell you and explain it to you. And I book shows. You can't do a show with me within a month. It's 4 to 6 months that we put it. I don't want any excuses that we didn't have enough time. That doesn't work.
Okay. And talking about time, we're about the half-hour mark over here, folks. So if you'd like to call in, please do. It's 631-619-7500. When we come back, now that we understand some of the backstory over here, we'll talk about the going forward. Where are these two guys going? From their business, from the program over here, the Business Power Hour, and I guess the other question is too, will you ever let me back on over here to host again?
It would be our pleasure.
There you go. You heard it here first, right? You heard it
It's on
here
tape
first.
now. We have to do this.
Take to the highway, won't you lend me your name? Your way and my way seem to be one and the same. How sweet it is to be loved by you. There you were, needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were, with sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotions. I won't stop, thank you, baby. I just won't stop, and thank you, baby. Yes, I do.
Coming on the Business Power Hour gives you something that you don't normally get with your typical advertising on the internet.
Or in the newspaper.
Right?
None of that stuff.
You get thousands of viewers who see the show every week, not only locally, but nationally and internationally.
For a very nominal fee. Actually, we did it and we broke it down. It will actually cost you 0.75 cents per view that you get. That's it. All right, so if you're interested in being a guest on the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, please give me a call at 631-698-9696 or email me at norman@friendentusa.com or call Darren at...
You can call me at 844-987-CBMS. That was 844-987-CBMS, or email me at Darren@bphdmm.com.
I think I'm going to get in touch with you also.
Yeah?
I am, to make sure that you get here on time.
Oh, okay.
Next time.
Yeah.
All right?
It's the first time ever I've been late. Pachera aquata, also known as the money tree, is a tree that flourishes in the tropical rainforest. Unlike other trees, it depends on 5 separate trunks to prosper, each one bringing its own share of water and nutrients to the leaves. Like the money tree, your business has many different trunks that need your attention. Sales, marketing, finance, operations, and culture. Fail to cultivate any one of these and the whole tree collapses. I understand this better than anyone else, which is why I developed My Prosperity Tree, a program designed to address all of these areas, not just one or two. We help you identify who you are as a company, define your direction, and assist with developing the systems that will enable you to scale your business the most efficient and effective way, allowing your company to bloom into your own prosperity tree. So plant your tree today by visiting myprosperitytree.com or call us at 844-987-CBMS. That's 844-987-2267.
Okay, and welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, except, well, they're in the guest seats. At least we're trying to keep them in the guest seats. I don't know, every once in a while, Norman likes to ask those questions. So we're tossing around that host thing here a little bit, but it's absolutely my honor to be hosting this one tonight and for you to get a better understanding of the men behind the microphone. If you do want to call in, by all means do. Your phone number is 631-619-7500.
By the way, that's our phone number.
That's your phone number. At least I didn't give out my phone number, right?
What you do, you should.
All right, let's get this thing back over here. We'll turn their cameras on again. But one of these days, we'll give out my phone number. That's fine. So their businesses, if you understand where Darren's coming from his business, is a little bit more on the structural side of it. It's not the historical side of it. I'm an accountant. Let's see what you did last year. It's the going forward type of a look to it. Norman's business, Friend Entertainment, which started out of a hobby, a voluntold, hey, it's you, and then to help out the nonprofit, the community that he was involved with at the time, decades ago. And then he's turned the business and evolved with the business to going even online now at this point in time. He's done a heck of a job with it. The two of them have seen their businesses grow and change and evolve, not just because of any one thing, but because they have grown, changed, and evolved. This program also will bring the two of you on over here, but even this program, the Business Power Hour, has also grown, changed, and evolved throughout time too.
It really has. So we started this thing together a number of years ago. But before we get into that, Brian, I really want to thank Chris Gannon from Ready Set Studios. Right, Chris does the commercials that you see. Chris does them. He does them for both Norm and I.
Videos.
Right, and the videos, as well as the new intro that you saw tonight. So Chris did that. We want to thank Chris for doing that for us. He does a fantastic job. As a matter of fact, he's coming in on Friday and doing some more video shoot for me, in my business. But we're always using Chris, and we really thank him for all the hard work that he does for us. So great job on the new one.
Round of applause for Chris.
Okay, so getting back to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So Norm approached me about coming on and taking Ty's place, right? And so 3-4 years ago, right? We're in our
Just about
fourth year,
right.
so it's a little over 3 years that we started doing this together. And at first, I'll give you some background on this, right? So at first I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, and I'll be doing this. And we did like 2 months together, and we were co-hosting, and I was like, okay, I'm getting better. At first it was horrible. I was getting better, and then Norm got sick.
Real sick.
Where he was in the hospital for 2 months.
3
months. Okay, sorry, Norm. For 3 months. But we had, and this is the great thing about Norm. Norm is great at booking guests. We had guests lined up all the way through Christmas. All right. And this is August 1st that he got sick. So it's coming up on 4 years ago, right? Yep. So he was gone, and it was like learned by fire. I was just thrown in there by myself, and somehow I got through it. And he had faith that I could continue to do it. So he didn't cancel anybody. He kept everybody coming, and all of that. And he finally got better, and he got back, thank God. And we continued on, and the show snowballed because it's a great outlet. It's a great way to tell your story, just like what we're doing tonight. Nobody really knows what I do. They see me sitting over there. I'm asking the questions most of the time, and they don't really know that, hey, you know what? One of the things that I talk to people about is getting the word out. I'm not great at it sometimes. I don't think all of us have trouble doing it at times. And it's a big part of your business, because if you're not out networking, you're not out getting your new business, you're not out always being out there, you'll never do that. And the show actually gives a platform for just that. And we were talking about the charities before. And one of the things we said early on was, well, how can we give back? How can we do something for somebody? And Norm, being in the world of charity, said, hey, why don't we bring a charity on and just give them the platform for an hour that they can really promote themselves and not charge them for it, right? Because, look, we're a marketing tool.
We're a business.
We're a business.
Right.
The Business Power Hour is a marketing tool. You want to market your business, it's a real great, cheap way to do it. So, as you know, my favorite week of the month is Give Back Tuesdays. Now we call it Give Back Tuesdays.
It was Wednesdays, now it's Tuesdays.
But now it's Tuesdays.
Everything
right?
evolves.
So Give Back Tuesday. And since Norm came back, we started this right after the first year ended. And we have been doing it ever since. And every month we have charities. And it's funny how many charities want to get on. And sometimes we have to tell them, well, we can't get you on for 8 months.
We only have 12
slots
months a month, 12 slots for the year.
Right.
So it's difficult if you don't reach out to us and let us know, or if I don't find you, or Darren doesn't find. Darren had Hop Park UCP on a couple of weeks ago, right? It was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That they were on.
Yep. I
And
noticed
Colleen, who's the director, came on with one of her associates, and they had a banner show.
Yeah.
We do this because it also makes us feel good. Our fee is so nominal that if you question the fee that we charge to be on this show, you really shouldn't be in business.
Yeah.
We have a reach of 5,300 people. That does not mean that 5,300 people.
Let's qualify that. We have 5,300 people that follow us on a weekly basis.
Right.
They're part of our group. They follow us in our Business Power Hour group. So as soon as we broadcast, 5,300 people are immediately notified that we're live and we're watching it. We're out on 10 channels right now. And as a matter of fact, this week we're on your Facebook page.
Yes, you are.
Broadcasting live during this show because we have that capability. We have the capability to get out there and be on multiple Facebook pages, be on Twitch, be on YouTube, and be out there. Not only that, we give you a copy of the show so you can take it, cut it up, dice it up, use it for your own marketing materials and stuff like that. So it's
okay. And so here's what happens though. This is what you guys talk about all the time. The benefit to them, the benefit to the nonprofit,
Right.
the benefit to the business going on. But it is definitely a two-way street. It's like you have me hosting over here, like you just mentioned. So now it's on my page, and yes, obviously I will continue to share and have been promoting it too. So it also introduces you to another market and a different group of people too.
Are less.
Right.
We're not there to take anybody over the coals. We're never going to get rich from doing this particular show, but we help people, we help charities, we help people that own businesses. That's what it's about. Now, Darren mentioned that as soon as you go on, we got 5,300 people who can view us and can watch. But honestly, about 2,000, 2,500 watch it that night. Now, you could watch it the next day, and you could watch it afterwards. So I don't even know what the number is up to now.
Typically, the numbers by the end of the first week, they double. So, it's one of those things where if you get a really good show, you get a really good viewing, you got a tremendous reach because it's all over the world. Because we got people who write in all the time, and I want to say hi to Karen Gillian, who's saying you're looking great.
There we go.
All right,
that's my number one fan. That happens to be my wife.
Okay. Oh, is that your wife?
She wrote in. That's a big deal. I got to tell you,
There you go.
That's a real big deal.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, guys. But like you said, it's a two-way street. It gives us exposure too.
Right.
That we get out there and people see us and people want to interact with us.
Let me interrupt you 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember 2 years ago or so, Darren and I took a table out at the
Library.
What's it called?
Middle Country.
Oh, the Middle Country
Library. And we were there in our suits and we had a table and we had our Business Power Hour banner up and we were saying hello to everybody, whatever. And then we were asked if we would kind of like host it and walk around with a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any equipment. We didn't have anything. So the people at the library said, I have it. And they handed us a microphone. We had at 10 o'clock in the morning, 2,000 people that tuned, right? It was 2,000 people that tuned in and was watching that. Right. That's the power of what it is. And we paid for that. But it helped the library.
Yeah,
it's that without a doubt.
It helps everybody, and that's what it is. It comes down. It gives us exposure. Look, I walk into networking events now that I don't know anybody, and people actually come over to me and talk to me, saying, "Hey, I've seen you on the
Tell them the best thing they say to you.
Aren't you the guy?
Yeah.
Aren't you the guy that has the horses?
Yeah, I'm getting that too now.
Don't you the guy that has horses?
I'm like, I don't have horses. You know what he does? He corrupted Chris from Ready Set Studios.
Okay.
So Chris and I are in a networking group. So Chris tells everybody in the networking group that I have horses, right? And that he goes on and on and on about that. And I'm like, I don't have horses. Nobody believes me.
No.
They don't believe me. No, they believe him and they believe Chris.
But it's on camera. So everybody believes everything that's on camera.
Exactly.
If it happens on camera, it must be. Yeah. So, but one of the things where I really was very interested when you asked me about hosting this, besides I like getting on camera myself and, the rest of that, is the fact that you guys are really, truly living the thing that I mention quite frequently is that by giving back to others, it winds up as a win for you also, is the feel-good factor. And Norm, you mentioned that right in the beginning. Why did you help out that charity right in the first place to raise money? It feels good. Do you ever expected a business to come out of it? Probably not. not in the initial stages.
You know,
And then also, you know, with the first time you listen to a customer.
I'll give you another example. I was in a Starbucks one day, okay, and this woman, for whatever reason, walked over to me and says, "Do you do Medicare insurance?" And I'm like, "No."
Mm.
And she goes, I've seen you did Medicare insurance. We had Medicare Mike on the show. She
My
must have
brothers.
seen, right. She must have seen Medicare Mike on the show.
And associate.
And I said, but I know somebody.
Yeah.
And I gave her Mike's number and stuff. And she called up. And Mike got a client from that. I mean, it's just weird sometimes. It's like how this affects me. And
there's also a reason why you're
here.
And
I felt very good about the fact that I helped somebody.
Right.
I was able to help somebody by doing that.
You were so well liked out in the Long Island world. And I'm telling you from my heart, you were so well liked and so what's the word I'm looking for? Deservant of the fact that you are so well. You help everybody when you can.
Well,
you like our biggest.
Wait a second. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't know each other because he brought me to that network.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, is it? Yeah. I don't even know
That's right.
sometimes,
Son of a
right?
bitch.
You know.
Because I met
Screwed
Brian,
that one up, didn't
right?
I?
I became a speaker for the Speakers Bureau.
Right.
And Brian was just getting involved in that networking group and said, "Hey, I want you to come down to this networking group." And that's where I met you. So,
and my feeling about Darren was listening to him speak and communicate. I know who I am and what I am. I know I'm a clown. I understand all about it. I get it.
You know, I was going to try to imply that in the end of it here. Okay, folks, now you know there's message number one.
I'm a pretty smart kind of clown, though. He is the business end.
Right.
We get it. The chemistry between us is huge. And I have to again thank him for all the visits to the hospital that he made during the course of a week in his busy work day at 3-4 times a week, showing up just to see how I feel. And keep in mind, we had just met each other.
Yeah,
it was 2-3 months, but he would show up. My wife to this day keeps on talking about the fact that Darren showed up and did whatever. He would pick me up at the house because I couldn't drive.
So we talk about, you know, the benefits all around over here. Obviously, there's a nice personal benefit.
We
too.
became really good friends.
Yes.
There's the end of that sentence. Exactly. Your friendship has really blossomed.
Right.
You know, throughout the whole thing. You've gotten a chance to know each other. That integrity factor is huge on the whole thing. And yeah, Norm, you let the cat out of the bag on that one. You're the jokester of the bunch.
Bingo.
But it's really important, too, with listening to the program throughout the whole thing. And Darren, your background, a bit more on the analytical side of things. Where have you been? Where we're going? Structuring the show to make sure it works. Because that's an important factor in over here. These shows have to be good. They have to be entertaining in some respect. Not humorous, not breakdown comedy laughing, but humorous. At least in part, to keep the interest level up. And it's not even so much as you, the listeners. It's also the guests that are coming on. Because, I mean, how many guests have you come on without mentioning names that were a little nervous about this whole thing?
90%, if not more, of the people coming on are extremely nervous. And they sit in this room. So let's go back a little bit.
Right.
COVID helped us. Indirectly, COVID helped us. We used to go to Huntington and we used to be in the studio.
Right.
All right. And we had our issues with that particular studio, whatever. COVID hit, we couldn't go anymore. Then we got to Zoom. And because we were on Zoom, we were able to take people from around the country and put them on the show, which is the same thing that's done to my entertainment business. I can stream shows, even though they're live, I can still stream them to the rest of the country for people to go and see. But we came. And this took months before Darren got his office, and then took a little longer to put the office together, which he has done, right? And has done a great job in doing it. Now people can either come to the studio, or they can still do Zoom or internet. We don't use Zoom, but use the internet, and we can bring people on from anywhere in the country. So if you have a business that sells a product or a service that is national, and who do we have on here? We just had somebody from Colorado, Chris LaBlaca.
Right.
And his boss, who's from Colorado.
Yeah.
We had Chris in the office, and his boss was on the computer.
And I'll tell you, I prefer people being in the office.
Absolutely.
Because you get that personal interaction.
Right.
One of the things that going back to him being the jokester and stuff. When I'm prepping people before the show, this is how the show works. This is how we're going to take breaks. All of those things, because we do that prep, and we let them know what's going on. I warn them. There will be times where him and I look like we're going at each other.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's all part
skit.
of the fun. It's all part of who we are. So don't, because people get very afraid. They watch some of the shows, and sometimes they see me going at him or him coming at me or whatever, and they get worried about that. And they get nervous about that. So first of all, we don't go after our guests. So we never do that. Right. But at the same time, it's all in fun. It's all in entertainment, because we need, like you said, got to keep the show entertaining.
Yeah, it's a show. I mean, bottom line is you got to know you're on stage no matter where, even if you're giving a presentation as an expert from the business standpoint. Right. Forget right here. But from the business, there's always some humor that gets tossed into the equation. Doesn't have to be laughter, but some humor. And obviously you on the performance side.
People enjoy being on here. That's why we're still doing this, because they go out telling their friends, business associates, I was on the show, or the business associate watched it, and then the phone rings. How do I get on the show? And so on. So if you're interested in being on the show or asking some questions, you can call me at 631-698-9696, or you can reach Darren.
844-987-CBMS. That's 844-987.
We segued into that one.
We segued right into that. Very not bashful about that.
Brian, what I want to do right now is I want you to click on the chat tab.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want you to see a testimonial that just went up. I don't want to read this testimonial. Okay. I want you to read this testimonial, because I want to make sure that we get it verbatim. All right.
At the top, right?
At the top. See where it says chat?
Yeah. I click chat, right?
Okay. So at the top, do you see it?
Which one am I looking at here?
The big one. It's the long one. You see it?
No.
That's funny, because are there other chat? Who's?
I got Pete Alonso is the top one.
No, that should be. Then scroll down.
My ball is worth World Series. Keep it up, Norm. They like his Caesar salad. Norm is 3 girls.
That's John from Hazard. That's all John from Hazard. keep scrolling down. Scroll down all the way to the end.
Do it before the show's over.
Yeah, right.
Chris, I got
yes.
that. Oh, working with. Okay, here we go. Let's click on that.
See,
there we go. That's very nice. You guys are doing okay here with the technology.
Well, actually, you can click on it, and it'll go onto the screen.
I just did.
Okay,
I'll read it. It's my teleprompter. Working with Darren and Norman is a pleasure. Norman with all his referrals, and Darren for helping me structure my business and helping me grow revenue by over 150% within the past year. Glad you guys are doing this. Very interesting to see the behind. I'm going to guess behind the scenes
story. He goes the behind the scenes story.
Okay. Let's click on that. There we go. Yeah, it's really important. And we got 7 minutes to go here. I get to play host and timekeeper.
Well, the thing about Chris is he's one of my clients, right? So even though he does the video work for me and he does all the video work for Norm and that, he's actually one of my clients. Norm becomes your champion if you're in his court, right? Everybody he talks to, he starts selling for you as he's talking. Right. And you've seen it, Brian.
No, absolutely.
I
know.
Right.
Even tonight you did that already.
Yeah, right away. And he does this. We have guests on. He goes, oh, you should be working with that.
Why shouldn't we be doing this for everybody?
And that's what
it doesn't cost us any money to say a nice thing about somebody.
No, it is a great thing.
And I do say it when guests are here. It's not BS. He can help the people that are here. So I don't know if he's going to call them or not. So I pushed the envelope.
Well, and the thing is, I'm telling you, as an accountant and the way I was trained in that, I'm not a sales guy.
Right.
So it's hard for me to just, even though I can get up and I can talk and I'm not a sales guy. I'm not going to sit down and pitch you, even though tonight sounds a lot like salesy stuff that we're talking about.
But it's what you do.
But I'm not a sales guy. I don't go and say when I meet somebody, and it's funny because you go into a networking situation and they go, so what do you do? I said, well, I'm an accountant. Oh, I got an accountant.
Right.
right away, I got an account. Okay. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help you. And I don't have to be your accountant. I have clients that still have their accountants. I just help them on the business development side, on the business growth side.
Because the accountants can't do what you do.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
and I work with other accountants.
Yeah, a true accountant, if you're just playing the accounting role, I generally see my accountant,
once a year, twice a year.
It's really once a year. This year we're going to change. We're going to go for the twice a year.
Yeah. I have a client. I brought on a client in January that he signed up for the business growth piece of this for a 12-week program that I have. We went through the 12-week program, but I taught him so much about reading his financial statements and having timely information. And it kind of kicked his accountant in the butt to where the accountant all of a sudden started doing things better and faster and giving him the information that he continually, he has extended his retainer with me, his monthly coaching session with me, just so I can continue to help him keep his accountant in line.
Right.
So I mean, it's just.
But you also make the guy feel good. I
make the guy feel good.
And feel positive about himself.
Right. He had a problem last week that he couldn't figure out. His accountant couldn't figure out. He called me up and I helped him through it.
Right. I mean, look, the bottom line too is that the two of you guys do put smiles on faces in different ways, in different capacities, and that's another big common factor, with the two of you in here. Listen, we just have 4 minutes to go. Four more minutes.
The biggest thing a charity has.
That's a hint that I was going to ask a question, but go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead.
Ask
your question. Go ahead.
4 minutes. So you're doing the show.
Listen, we can go overtime.
I know we can.
This is ours. You don't have to worry about the clock.
But he does. See, Darren is.
Where's he going?
He's the organized guy. He's going to worry about it. It's the business power hour, not the business power hour. And then a little something.
If you remember, Brian was like, "Okay, let's start," and I go, "No, it's only 6:59."
Right?
Yeah. Until I turns to 7, and then hit go.
So doing this program has definitely been a benefit to other people, without a doubt. You have people on, whether it's a business or a nonprofit, they're being shared and highlighted, broadcast to many people that they don't know, which is really the whole key. I mean, how many times can we do a video where it's just our friends listening to it? It just doesn't really matter. But Norman, what have you taken from this show that you've been able to apply to the business that you're running, to Friend Entertainment? You'd mentioned about the idea that you're doing more things in a digital format. So has the confidence level you've gained from this been something you could apply to that?
No, it's actually what I've done that I brought into here.
Okay.
Not the other way around. It's what I brought into here. The fact that I do networking as much as I do. And that's how you and I met at the same time. There was one day where you and I went to a networking group for a networking group that's not around anymore. And I literally walked out with 7 people for the show, for this particular show. At 7, I called Darren. I said, "You ain't gonna believe this. Got 7 people," because some of the people heard that we do it. And then they met the person that actually does it. So I had one person I wound up doing a concert for her as well, said, "Please don't leave until I get your phone number." So it was coming on the show and received a concert out of doing it. So it's really what I took from the outside, because I'm also older. I have this additional experience that I brought in here to help this thing go. That's why Darren says I bring in most of the people that come in here. I hopefully it's because of respect and knowledge that they've heard from other people that our chemistry is right and the work that we do is right in helping people. Now, I go on other networking groups and those people that have been on the show rave about us. And that's a good thing. And then what happens? Somebody else that's there watching says, "How do I get in touch with you?"
Right. And we get a lot of repeat people on the show.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, we were just talking about it before the show about somebody who's going to be coming on in August. This is their 3rd time. So it's like every year they come on just to promote themselves and
twice.
do that.
They come on twice a year.
Yeah.
Last year he didn't come on, obviously because of COVID.
I think Mike Brothers is on almost every other week.
and Eileen Karina
And
has
Eileen
been on
Karina,
as
yep.
far as
She's been on
charities
a
go.
number of times. We've had Brian on.
And I think I know who you're talking about on the other side of
Yeah,
things, that,
so-
you know, too, which is great because it's new information coming up each and every time. So
Yeah.
it works. It's good. Now, look, on their side of things, this is a nice commercial that they could do. And the one thing I'll disagree with you about is that this is like a salesy kind of thing tonight. The answer is no. Because it's your personalities that are really shining through here as they do on the show. You just get the opportunity. Maybe you feel it's salesy because you're in this room here, you're in the studio, and you can't do that. If you have a guest on, you can't say, hey, look at me, look what I do. Well, tonight you can say, you can do that. You can say, hey, this is what I do, but it's not that. You're still providing value across the board.
I think
that's the important thing.
I think that goes to your question, right, that you asked Norm before, about what I got out of this. You know, I've actually opened up and can do some of the salesy stuff now because I watch Norm. I see what's going on. I learn from him in how he approaches things and how he actually interacts with people to get them to do stuff. I'm not, you know, up until the last couple of years, I really haven't been a closer. The clients that I've gotten have been more walking through the door, and they pretty much already sold on me because they were a referral from somebody or knew somebody and stuff like that. I'm getting more and more clients now that aren't like that. And I got to attribute that to a lot of what I learned on this show and what I'm taking away from it. And again, to me, anytime I talk about myself, I think I'm being salesy.
I get it.
Brian, you are like that.
Because I don't do that either.
You-
You know, that's
yeah,
fine.
you
That's
are
like, I know you guys were
outgoing.
kind enough to put together a little thing over
You
here.
are
like,
very outgoing. You were very personable. And tell, okay. You're going to tell people now what it is that you do.
Yeah.
Tell
So
me.
I do strategies of success. So I'm coaching folks to do podcasts and and to use their voice in order to build their brand, build their business, and use it for marketing purposes. So that's, again, this is really, really why I was excited about coming on here, because you guys are doing it and you're doing it not salesy. It's not the sales part of it. Why are people reaching out to you? Well, somebody said, oh, go contact Darren or go contact Norman. But they're seeing who you are by doing this program. They're not seeing who you are as a business owner. They're seeing who you are as a person. And that becomes really important to do. That side of it, I just absolutely love. So I do the podcast in the morning too, a vodcast in the morning. And
If
that's
people wanted
me.
to talk to you
about
getting on your team or finding out how to go and do a podcast, how do they reach you?
The website, it's briansos.com. Oh, I have a commercial here. Let's go. Now I got to get ready to chat room.
Information sheet. Put the information
And for the record, it was you guys that let us go over 8 o'clock here.
That's right.
All right.
Who cares?
All right. Here we go. I got to close the chat room while we're doing this. And I'm going to figure out how to close the chat room while we're doing it.
Just click on graphics up there.
Well, just tell them.
Yeah, I am.
There we go.
Click
Got
on
it.
graphics.
And that would be me over there. There I am on top of Mount Washington. That is really me, by the way. I climbed up on top of Mount Washington with a book that I had contributed a chapter to. But it's strategies of success. So what I have found, putting that smile on, is that I want to help people gain the confidence in order to do a podcast or a podcast. So I built up the resources in order to make that work. And I'm looking to work with business owners that want to use their voice in order to build their brand, build their business.
So how do they reach
share
you?
a little value? The website, or you can call me 631-255-3581.
Again.
631-255-3581. All right, now we're going to go back to you guys.
And if you want to get in touch with Darren or myself, if you want to be on the show,
there we go. We'll go Darren first.
631-698-9696, or you call Darren at
844-987-CBMS. That's 844-987-2266.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in coming to a concert and help a charity, go to friendentusa.com. Friendentusa.com.
And Brian, I really want to thank you for doing this tonight.
You did great. Even though I interrupted you a few times.
I know. I was wondering coming in.
Believe it or not, Norm and I have done this once or twice before.
Yeah.
But we just interviewed each other.
Yeah.
And
This was just something that I thought. I said to Darren, I said,
why don't we get Brian to do it? And
exactly.
I'm like, yeah,
you were the
perfect.
first one that we thought about in doing. So
we actually wanted to bring Chris in to
two of you,
but you know, Chris is home with his new BMW.
Yeah, Chris thought it would be better to make some money with one of his clients instead of helping out his friends.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so Chris, if you're listening now, bite me.
But it'll be interesting, the different approach on it.
Yes.
You're right, because I'm looking at it. Oh, look, Chris and I could both sit in the same room and say, oh, yeah, we're both in marketing, right? But we're just in marketing. His approach to the whole thing is totally different than the way I'm looking at it, right?
See, Chris also does SEO marketing for me. He just doesn't do ads. He's the one that's involved with my internet, involved with Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram to help me promote, which helps the charities promote.
Right. So he's going to look at this kind of conversation from a different point of view than I would. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of your personalities are out there.
That's why
that's really important.
It would be interesting to have both of you guys on, you know, asking the questions, you know, of us.
And watch, Chris is going to come on, folks. If you're listening to this, he's going to talk about the power of video. I'm sure about it. I have not spoken to him.
And he would be right, because that is the hottest thing now.
It's absolutely everything.
You know, we've had Chris on the show. So.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to end this. Are we okay? We're good? You guys are all set? Yep. Closing comment? You want to make we'll time you. Can you time it?
We'll be back next Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
And I don't know what who. I forgot.
We have the photographer next week.
Oh, yeah, Alex Wolf.
Alex Wolf.
And this is not your bar mitzvah or wedding photographer. This is a heavy-duty oceanographer, wedding kind of guy, unbelievable type of photography he does. So tune in next week. You'll enjoy it.
And Alex has got all kinds of crazy connections.
You know Alex?
Yeah, I interviewed him on my show, and he introduced me to a gentleman that was the drummer for Cyndi Lauper.
So there you go.
You know, and had great conversations.
Oh, we better end this with him.
We don't end this thing soon. We're going to be here till next week.
All right.
All right. So we're out of here. I'm going to play the commercial. 30 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
for
Brian,
being
here.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate the opportunity. And thank you all for listening. Hope you had a little bit of fun and also got a little bit more insight into who these guys are, not just from their personalities, not just from the Business Power Hour, but actually the businesses that they are running behind the scenes over here and how those businesses have actually affected the show, that personality, that background, how that is incorporated into here. And still everybody's having a great time doing it, learning from it. And I know that this show is better off for that, which means you as a guest will benefit from that also. And I would have turned the camera off on you two guys when I went into that thing. I didn't hit the button. But anyhow, it's a group effort, as everything is. So again, thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
We have a closing video in here. All I got to do is find that closing video. Let's see. It'll be 1, 2. I think this is the third one here. Let's see if it is.